The Mara River is a transboundary river which is a lifeblood for Mara and the Serengeti, and it needs to be protected and to be preserved. So if you don't really have the water there, we have no animals in the Mara.
Apart from those dives in the crocodiles and predators and the river crossings, most of the eastern migrations are killed by the fences way up in the Loita plains.
We engage in the community to ensure that we pull down these fences. Those are just steps that we are taking into restoring back the migratory routes for wildlife.
On this episode of Wildlife Warriors, meet Daniel Ole Sopia, Joshua Benjamin, and Jackson Taki, conservationists who are working to safeguard the future of the Masai Mara Serengeti ecosystem. The mighty Mara River weaves its way through Kenya and Tanzania, supporting one of the world's richest ecosystems. This region is a haven for biodiversity, home to around 40% of Africa's remaining large mammals. Each year, more than 2 million wildebeest, zebra, and other ungulates make the long journey through East Africa's savanna, crossing the Mara River in search of fresh water and rich grass. The wildebeest is among the most elegantly designed creatures on this planet. Their body design is adapted specifically to long-distance running. They can keep up a pace for months at a time in order to complete their great migration. They also live in some of the largest herds that have ever been seen for terrestrial animals. The wildebeest are dotting the grasslands from horizon to horizon. There are so many of them here that it's hard to imagine that there could be a conservation concern. But these amazing animals require such vast landscapes to thrive. And these lands in many areas are occupied by people who are converting them into farms or into pastures for their cattle. And that means that the future of the wildebeest could be in jeopardy. Daniel Sopia is one of the Mara's leading conservationists, heading the charge to secure the land that the wildebeest depend on.
I really grew up watching them on a daily basis. We used to chase them and with our dogs, but I actually never thought that one day this sort of species or animals are going to change my life. So that is really what I admire most, really telling people about the Mara, telling people about the Maasai culture, how Maasais are conservationists in nature, and that is why we have all this wildlife in this landscape.
Daniel is the CEO of the Masai Mara Wildlife Conservancies Association, which brings together landowners for conservation. This history goes back 20 years when land outside the reserve was subdivided and privatized.
This is basically something that was used as something to secure the land from the Maasai. As soon as subdivision happened, then there was a big risk that people who are really coming to the Mara want to buy big tracts of land for agriculture.
It was here that the conservancy model was first introduced.
In the Mara, a conservancy is an area or a piece of land owned by different families or individuals, bringing their pieces of land together to form one contiguous landscape for wildlife and tourism, that in order for them to benefit. Mara North, with probably 850 landowners, got quotas here, Wildebeest Conservancy, with about 7,000. individual landowners. We got Siena and the likes with maybe 3,000 landowners and above. So we have a total of about 15,000 individual landowners. Each conservancy or each landowner will have a lease or sign a lease with a conservancy. And that lease is actually what now stipulates how you are going to benefit. This year, the amount of money in form of lease payment that was to go to the 15,000 landowners was estimated to be $7.5 million US.
7.5 million.
7.5 million US dollars.
That's
That is the money that
incredible.
will go directly to the pockets of those individual landowners.
What is the most important role of all this protected land?
It's actually providing a buffer to the Masai Mara National Reserve. And I think these two protected area complements one another. Without the conservancies, the survival of the reserve is really going to be very difficult. And I think the same case applies that without the reserve, these conservancies basically will not survive. So this has provided a very good buffer zone and wildlife dispersal and breeding area.
But this doesn't fully secure the future of the wildebeest migration. In this 300,000-acre ecosystem, problems can be felt far downstream. The winding Mara River, the lifeblood for one of the world's most diverse ecosystems. Birthed in the Mau forest, the river crosses through Kenya and Tanzania before spilling into Lake Victoria to form the headwaters of the Nile. The river sets the stage for one of nature's greatest sights. The bulls make up the vanguard. They always lead the herds towards the river and the crossings. Everybody in these herds is a follower. The wildebeest are experts in group behavior. If an individual moves, others will follow it. And that is how they make their great migration. People often ask, who makes the decision when to cross and where to cross? Well, it's usually the males. They are the guys who are the most likely to make the decisions. Females are very cautious, and so are the calves. But if the individuals at the front are not sure about crossing the river, they will turn and start heading back, unless the pressure from behind is so great that they literally push some individuals into the river. That is the signal that everyone is waiting for. The first splash, everyone else piles in. The Mara River is more than a site of spectacle. This is the only permanent river in the entire ecosystem. It is an essential part of the migration. But there is a lot more to this. The declining water quality is a concern that scientists believe may be affecting the migration. I'm here in the Maji research camp in the Masai Mara, where the scientists live in the forest with all the animals. Here they're studying water, water quality, and especially the Mara River. The river is the lifeblood for all the animals that live in this ecosystem, especially the wildebeest. Without it, the migration wouldn't be happening. And I'm here to meet Joshua Benjamin, a Kenyan scientist who's studying the macroinvertebrates, which are the indicators of the water quality of this river. Hi, Joshua.
Hello, Paula. Welcome to Magic Camp Lab.
Thank you.
So you just found me, basically was checking on the reference collection of the bags we have in the Mara. This is a collection from the museum. So I just familiarizing myself which bags we have around. So if you can have a look at this organism here. So this is the group, it's the order Hemiptera, and it's a bag called Neochoridae. So it looks so good. You can have a look at it.
Hemiptera is which group of insects that I will be familiar with?
These are insects with soft body tissues. So they are not like beetles, which are harder. So these are more soft.
Oh, wow. It's incredible. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. So this comes from where?
This basically comes from the river. If you want to know how to take a kick sample of full of organism like this, I'm willing to go to the field with you and show you how to do a kick net. So
okay.
So this is good to prevent water from getting into your clothes.
Wow.
And also from biting from some small organisms in the water. Yeah.
Joshua is studying how the wildebeest migration affects the river's insect and fish population.
This is just a small stream, so no crocodiles, so you're safe.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for the macroinvertebrates in the water, which can tell us a lot about the health of the river ecosystem.
This is the kick net, but first, before you go into the water safety first, you have to prompt the depth of the stream or the river you are sampling, and make sure it's not too deep for you not to sink, of course, yeah? So I think this is a good spot.
And you always do it right in the middle?
Yeah,
middle of
you have to be in the middle of the river channel. The reason why it's called a kick net, because normally you kick literally to have everything which is down there to go inside the net. So you do it normally for 30 seconds.
It's a good exercise.
That's
aerobics.
what it's called, the kick sample. The most amazing part is that many people don't know the role these insects play when they are in water. When you see these insects running in water, when you visit a river and you can see them running like the beetles running, wagig all over the water, those insects are really very crucial and very vital in the water because they are helping, others are playing a role to filter the water. And apart from that, within a food chain, they are the bottom guys, so the fish are feeding on these invertebrates. Basically, that's what we have there. And we're gonna now look into the tray and see if we can see anything visible. The reason why we have so many chironomies, it's a pool, so we have less of the water flowing, that's true, yeah? But if you get a really high flow or running river, then you get different kind of organism in there. These are just because, you know, this is like watering point for many animals. We have animals coming here to water, so they are disturbing the water. They are bringing in other kind of nutrients because they have maybe to poo or they have to urinate after they drink. And that's what brings in this kind of different organisms.
Studies have shown that the wildebeest have a major impact on the river ecosystem. During the migration, tons of biomass, including the dead wildebeest bodies, enter the water, releasing nutrients into the long winding river for years to come. In just a few minutes, we've been able to collect 7 different species of macroinvertebrates. These are the larval stages of insects that are literally the food for the fish in these streams, the dragonflies, birds, small reptiles like lizards. They represent the basis of the food chain for many of the larger animals. And looking for these kinds of creatures in the water is actually a really effective way of evaluating the water quality. These organisms are the biological indicators of water quality. But scientists have discovered a worrying trend coming from upstream.
The local threat is the main deforestation in the Mau catchment because it forms the headwaters of the Mara River. Once there is a change in the forest or you cut trees in the forest, that means then the water which is flowing from a Mara River, which is a tributary to the Mara, it's going to lower the discharge. And that means that at some particular time when there's no rain in Kenya, then the Mara River will have a very low flow and it's not suitable for organisms to live in. Even the wildebeest won't be able to cross because we again don't have any water in the river. What I want Kenyans to know about the Mara River is that it's a very crucial ecosystem and it needs to be protected and to be preserved. Otherwise, we won't be having these animals we come during our tourist times or when you are free, when you come visiting the Mara. If we don't have Mara River, then that means you won't be able to see these animals because the Mara River forms the source for their drinking water. So if you don't really have the water there, we have no animals in the Mara.
It's a reminder. It's not just our neighbors that we influence in our decisions. Our actions can leave an impact hundreds of kilometers away, and that goes beyond this river. Human development has meant that herds that we once thought were never-ending have been reduced to a fraction of their size. The Masai Mara Wildlife Conservancies Association is working with landowners to create conservancies. Jackson Taki is a field conservation officer. He and his family have lived here for generations. So what did they know about animals that helped them to live here so successfully?
So she says they've always known wildlife as wild animal and nobody really bothered about the wildlife, though they did not kill them. They were just interacting with wildlife. There was enough space for wildlife to roam around and nobody was bothered with them. As long as, cattle were grazing, wildlife were grazing at the same time, and really there was not a lot of issues around them. As a Maasai and as a cattle keeper, you cannot eat game meat. It was believed that when you eat meat from wild animal, your cattle will cease giving milk, and you are even at risk of losing your herd. She's saying that the taboo is no longer there, but people, because of now conservation, they are now embracing wildlife. They're not killing wildlife because it's a taboo. They don't kill because they love the wildlife, because they now see it as a resource.
This conservation model has really helped the local community and the animals in this area. The Mara-serengeti ecosystem, known to the Maasai who live here as the land of endless plains. The wildebeest come here for the mineral-rich, short, sweet grass that they need in order to survive. They've traveled over 750 kilometers to get here. And here they will feed like giant lawnmowers, mowing down the grass and moving all these nutrients around the ecosystem. Their work, in turn, supports a nutrient cycle on which dozens of other species of ungulates depend. This ecosystem is not just the national parks. It includes lands that are occupied by people, communities, and private landowners. This ecosystem that was once so vast is shrinking. The population outside the Mara's protected areas is growing, and private land is being subdivided and sold.
People buy land for various reasons or different needs. Some people want to buy land to build residential houses. People want to buy land and maybe want to grow crops. So with all those different conflicting land use, definitely that is going to fragment the whole thing and there will be no space for wildlife.
We can look to the Loita Plains for a cautionary tale.
We have two types of migration. We have the southern migration. This is the wildebeest that migrate from the Serengeti to the National Reserve and also further to the conservancies. Then we have the eastern migration, which we call it the Loita migration. These are resident wildebeest that spend their life in the eastern side of the Mara.
Daniel says that the Loita migratory herds have been reduced to just 1/5 of the original wildebeest herds. But what is the biggest cause for this decline? The answer may surprise you.
Where we're standing today is a migratory corridor for the wildebeest. And when I was growing up as a young man, I used to see all these animals moving. Fascinating movement, of wildebeest, thousands of them towards the Loita plain and even when they are coming back to the Mara.
It must be very shocking to have so few remaining.
Yeah, it's indeed very shocking. And, like personally, I did experience the movement. And today I would see very few of them, and we still keep wondering what has happened up to until we can realize it's because of the fencing and wildlife. The wildebeest are dying from the fences. They are being electrocuted, tangled by the wires, and that's how we are losing the migration.
Where do they get these poles from? What kind of wood is this?
This is cedar poles, and if you want to know where the Mara forest got lost into, is in the fences across the landscape.
So the Mara forest has been destroyed in order to get cedar posts?
Exactly. So all the cedar poles were cut from the Mara forest.
It's a double hit for the Masai Mara's future. The forest that the Mara River relies on for water is being chopped down to provide fence posts to keep the wildlife out. But hope is not lost. These wildlife warriors are doing something about it.
We engage in the community to ensure that we pull down these fences. So far, we've done 1,000 acres of critical corridor. We've pulled them down already. That's about 30 fences. And we have about 35 fences lying today for pulling down in PCA. Those are just steps that we are taking into restoring back the migratory routes for wildlife.
This is one of the many fences that is coming down in Pardamat Conservancy. There is about 1 kilometer more to go to bring down this fence. That means no animals will be getting tangled up in this wire and getting killed as a result. And it also means the animals can move freely across this ecosystem. This may not save the whole of the Loita migration because the numbers have already reduced so significantly. But it will certainly open up this area for all the other animals, including the elephants, so that they can range right the way from the Mara Reserve all the way up to the Loita Hills. Each wire that is taken out of the Mara means one more wildebeest may be free to roam. By working with the landowners around the Mara, Daniel wants to ensure that the ecosystem remains true to its name, the land of endless plains.
Yeah, this is our ladies from the 15 conservancies. So they are the leaders who sits on each and every conservancy committee.
These women are building a new vision for the next generation.
One of the things that they actually foresee is a future where the young generation, which is basically the kids at the moment, get to grow to be people who respect nature, people who promote conservation, because this is something that we've seen that it's been a major livelihood support for us as a community here. We are using the resources we are getting from our land in conservation to educate them. And we definitely believe that's what we need to do to nurture them. And we can see a brighter future for the generation to come. Why we are doing conservation? It is because it's a form of land use. It is a source of livelihood support. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that people have made in the conservation world is the assumption they make about what people's needs are, as opposed to understanding what really people want. You give people a dam of water when they don't have food. And I think conservancies today has put the food onto the table of the landowners.
For this wildebeest migration to continue as it has for millions of years, large open landscapes are required. They have to be interconnected. But the Serengeti and the Masai Mara are only part of the larger ecosystem. Protecting just these national parks is not enough. We need to work on the dispersal areas, north, south, east and west of this great ecosystem, in order to secure the future of these wildebeest. If you want to help our amazing wildlife, why don't you start a Wildlife Warriors Club in your school? To learn more about this program, please visit our website